especially our main target was the county government, because they had said go plant, and we came and did this excessively. I mean, at any one time we had 15 to 20 people, youth, who were just working over here. It was quite substantial payment every other week. So we did this side. Our aim was to do 1 million. So once we reached that side and we started seeing that the uptake is a little bit, we're not saying it's not coming in as we expected, we said let us tone down.
In the members of the community, will they spend 50 or 30 bob per day?
Yes.
Are they able to?
They are able to. People think there are two things. One, we still have that notion that something from outside is better. So they will go for eucalyptus, they will go for pine, they will go for something that is not indigenous. When it comes to being indigenous, then they kind of say, no, this one we can always get it around and so on. So they don't give it so much value. But the beaches will take this one. The schools will take this one. So it just depends on what is the outlet.
So would you say your product is moving, or is
Yes, I would say so. I would say so because one of the customers I bought quite a number and I've planted them, and I have a forest. Right? And most of our neighbors have also bought them. So people take them. But when you say 5 million, 500,000, then now we're talking about a big project. And me and my neighbors, that is kiosk. That is the kiosk we don't want.
To get somebody who takes 5, 10,
That is there.
those ones they take. I mean, somebody maybe takes about 20,000 of that. That's the biggest number, one person taking. Small amounts, 100, 200, 300, that's his category.
But it's important also.
Very important. That is the low line upward.
You want trees to be established everywhere.
Yes. I think maybe our main focus was, because we have the lowest forest cover, can we put them in the forest? National government is saying 15 billion trees. When we prorate that, then we're looking at Siaya should be taking between 300 million to 500 million. And we said, surely, where are they going to get 500 million tree seedlings? You can say it can be a good idea, but let us take, but where are you going to get
Producing them is something else.
Exactly. So that is where we fell under. And that was after meeting the governor and his team, who really encouraged us. Go ahead, produce, we will definitely take. So,
And ownership of this is in Sagam.
My next question is, how does Rotary Club of Sagam come into?
That's what I'm talking about.
Good. Let me explain.
That's
Yes.
Now let's have
Two
it.
things. One is that, as I told you, that one of our focus areas is environment. And when we started putting targets on what we wanted to plant even as a club per year, we found that there was quality seedlings anyway. So we encourage our own members to get together because we want them to be important seedlings. So what we said was that let us now, first of all, show that we can actually produce a seedling, expand our contact with the school system, which we're already doing, work with the county to ensure that if we are going to fulfill the targets that the government has set for them, we have seedlings here. Then train young people so that the scale is spread out to other young people. Do a project together with other clubs that may not have access to this, so that if they want seedlings, then they know that we have seedlings here. So Western Kenya, for example, how many places can you go and get this quality seedling? And anyway, this is not anyway. Engineer, you can correct me.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Have you heard or seen?
But no, I have not seen.
Yeah.
But I've seen in Kiambu,
Yeah.
where the cover is 30%. You know where we went to plant those trees?
Mm-hmm.
Curator.
Mm.
30% those guys. You're seeing your zero. It's a lot of work. Now, plant trees, there is no commercial side to it. We just plant trees in schools or in forests. How we Sagam raise, because there's a cost associated with doing all of this, you can see it yourself. How will you procure all these tree seedlings before we even talk about where? What is your plan as a club to plant 100,000, 200, 1 million in 4 years or 3 years? Then we work backwards to how you raise the funds, etc. What is your plan to plant the trees?
I think you can
These
answer
are
that.
fine. First of all, this it takes money to grow.
Yeah.
Okay? So we have to get into partnership with other interested clubs that want to get into this, so that we see what our role is in that and what resources we put forward towards the work that's there. And we are reducing the cost of production to the minimum possible with the targets that we have. So our plan for this year is a collaborative project with other clubs to be able to raise the resources for the kids to do this, and therefore it will also be distributed through the schools that will not be buying schools.
Say 1,000 would be how much? It would cost
About 30,000.
30,000.
Okay. But I think that one of the things that we need to mention that they are about 30 or so now. When they are smaller, like
But we know we want it to survive. I'm not even worried about the price. Yes, there's a
Survival rate.
there is a, and also there is effort put in this, you can see. I'm talking about the end user, which is the club, that the clubs that are present here, either through the AGs, are they willing to, or able to raise 30,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 for them to procure these quality seeds? Then we know for a fact that, let's say we choose schools, because let's go to a confined area.
Yeah.
If we choose schools, that these schools around here, we're going to plant 500 each, for example. But if they water in their school, you know, so have we done a needs assessment so that we cover both water and the watering of these things? How many can we manage in a year? 1, 2, it doesn't matter. But at least we have a definitive plan with our resources, and that you've convinced the other clubs to join. So that you know in 5 years, because a problem like this can't be solved in a day, that Siaya goes from 47 to 46 as a result of your effort. Then there's something to look forward to. Then there's something to get partners for. Because you know, you need to consider the county buying them, and then now you're gifting them to the school. That's a different way of going around it. So that we avoid the cost of this.
sustainable.
Yeah, because that is a lot of money when you add, when you told me 1,000. So that belongs actually to the government, because even KFS was supposed to give us all these free of charge. They're not giving the appropriate one in terms of survivability. So if we're doing at the county, if we can go into partnership and let them procure, and then through the clubs we can say we're going into schools, but there has to be a plan, because even the county will hold you accountable to it. There won't be just a free ride. So have the club sat down and said, okay, in our county, the priority area is the environment. We want to play our part in moving us from 47 to 46 or whichever number. That involves 10 million trees. We can't do 10 million. But as a club, as the clubs here, we can do half a million. That can be our gift to the community. Then now divide it between the clubs, and then how you're going to raise the money for the seedlings, whether it's through here or through anywhere else. And then there's an action plan. Action plan which you report to community services so that they keep account that the clubs in Siaya are contributing so much to the overall effort, so that even we can report to the government that our contribution as Rotary has been so much. So that we don't just do things in silence and keep quiet, do a lot, and then we're not acknowledged at the end for having played a role. When you're last, it's always best because it's easier to move forward. When you're katikati, it's hard. That is the challenge. You know, you have the right product. What are the next steps? To convince your colleagues that this is what we want, and that the numbers are, we always need to have the numbers about what we're talking. That to go from 47 to 46, we need to do so much. Okay, we can't do that. We can do 10% of it or 5%, doesn't matter. And then you need to log the clubs, Nairobi, Muthaiga North, and digitizing the locations using a phone app. So we do the same, so that we now have a central database of what's going on. So that we say as Rotary in Kenya, we have planted 3.5. Now we are players in the game. And we've removed Siaya from 47 to 46.
Even before moving to 47 to 46, you say as 46 and you compete with your shadow. You can say as 47 and compete with your what?
Just to expand on what you just said. First, one of the reasons why we decided to go indigenous trees is because the indigenous trees understand more so the weather patterns of this place. We know the two rainy seasons. One is the very short rains, usually, not so much. Then in the longer seasons, then the survival rate is so much higher. So, hence the indigenous trees. Two, you have talked about something which is very dear to me about digitizing or having data of the plants that we plant in different places. Because what we have been also talking to the county is that we want to record each and every tree that we plant for very good reasons. How can we get the carbon credit for doing this particular job? Now that you say that there's a club already doing it in Kiambu, or is it in Muthaiga, we could easily use that same application and
integrate it so that
it becomes
we
one.
collective, right?
Exactly. So it becomes part
Yes,
of
so
the
that the
Rotary Club.
whole Rotary is doing this.
Exactly.
And this is our impact. Otherwise, sometimes you can work so hard, but it's at the end worthless.
Nobody
it's
sees
not
it.
noticed.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to stimulate others to join us in this thing of the afforestation in all the areas of focus.
Yes.
We don't have that basic data. That's why I ask, how many trees are you trying to achieve to get us to a certain position?
Yes.
How many can we do? How many can our 3-4 clubs do? Then you know where you are. Then we say, is it worthwhile to do this, or what we'll do will be so insignificant, it will be a waste of our effort. Let's go to water, or let's go to sanitation, or let's go to that debate. Don't be fixated on anything, right? Then once you've settled that this is what we want to do, then how are we going to do it so that we can be noticed? You get in touch now with the community projects. Tell them, look, which other clubs are crazy about trees and environment and planting there, so that we can join that thing, so that we get the app and we start doing our games and everything. Then you start making noise so that you can get the county now to be interested to purchase and do that, so that it's part of a whole plan. That we don't suffer the issue of trying to raise 50 shillings every time from members, especially. We should avoid that. That we go into partnerships, or we go through grants. With grants, we won't be able to do this. But this is important. So I'll challenge you to think about that. You already have a head start with all these stocks that you have in place, but don't let them grow too big. And then consider schools, because schools is a micro and an enclosed environment. It's easy to measure, it's easy to give the responsibility to the school administration to be able to look after it. Yeah? And then people can see with a sign that Rotary has done something here. If we do in a big forest, we get lost in the trees. Huh? It's difficult. Unless you guys can plant 1 million or 2.
We're thinking
I'm not
big.
there.
We are thinking big.